Okay, we're back. We are back. Oh, I actually can't believe I did that, but it happens. I trust you all. It's just when it goes live after, and the fact that anyone can view it, it's scary. Yeah, so I've just set the stream to private, and then once I finished, I'll be able to. It's just got a process, so I'll just wait for it to finish processing. Then I can just clip out that bit at the end, because I'd like to keep the live stream up because it shows me colouring, and I'll just clip that out at the end. But let's carry on with this. Indeed a bummer. Oh, it just, yeah, it's, you don't want to be, you don't know on anything. Like it's probably fine because there's only a few people here. Hi Chrissy, welcome in. Just caught me on streaming back. That didn't take too long. I was just like, oh. But yeah, on YouTube Studio on your laptop, on computer, you're able to edit directly on there, so you can clip things out. So I will do that. But I'm carrying on colouring this page. Kevin, don't apologise. It was my fault. It's not your fault. It's my fault. It was me just pressing the wrong button. It's fine. Ask Amazon questions all you like. I like sharing it with you all. I will just make sure that I'm always signed in to ship to US before I start streaming, and hopefully it'll remember that. Oh, hi Cindy, welcome in. Yeah, we are fine after is not. Yeah, you just don't know. I've got fern green here, but that's not the right tone that I want for that. It's looking too yellowy. So I'm just erasing that. Erase, not rub. You can choose a different browser and go incognito mode. Yeah, I did try incognito mode, and then I realised that the browser that was sharing wasn't actually the right browser, so that wasn't working. And it also still said my postcode, so it's weird. Not like my full postcode, but the first part of it. Right, what pencil now? I want olive green, not fern green. There we go. What are colourists meaning when they say Amazon book paper? So that is books printed on demand by Amazon, and you will see at the back of the book, oh, let me grab one, R.J. Hampson. At the back of the book it says printed in Great Britain or United States or Canada or France, Germany, wherever you are in the world, by Amazon. And this paper is thin. It's basically like your normal printer paper, really thin. You can see through it. Some countries are better than others, just because they have better quality printing paper, and I think in the US it's different states are better than others or something like that. I don't know. But that is what we mean by Amazon paper. Books which are printed by Amazon. Less quality paper. I said erase, yeah. I was like, purposely try and say erase. For all you Americans out there. Oh, welcome in, Leah Sistina from Germany. Welcome in. Yeah, good news. I'm sorting it out. I will sort it out. Just got to wait for it to process. But yeah, got a new stream. Stream take 2. It's copy paper, yeah. People think back in the day, back in the early days of colouring YouTube, or not even back in the day, sort of like 3 years ago, people often would call it create space paper, and that's the same as Amazon print paper. You also hear it called KDP, which is Amazon's print on demand service. It's called like publishing by KDP. And I think the publishing used to be Create Space. I'm not sure exactly why Create Space. Was it maybe an American thing? But that's the same as Amazon print paper. We say it more like erase, not erase. Erase? Eraser. Erase. I'm going to erase this. I think I say both. I often say things differently. If you hadn't noticed on my channel, I say artist names differently every time I say. I can have one video and say Maria Troll 5 different ways. This is, I'm just gonna erase this. Erase. I don't know. I'm all good, Amy, don't worry. Erase. Look, I'm trying to be good, Ashley, and say erase rather than rub. And still you mock me. I joke. Most definitely depends on the day of the week how I pronounce something. Not even the day of the week, the specific minute of the day. I will say, this is Luna by Maria Troll, and then I'll put it away, so that was Luna by Maria Trolle. I think I just say a whole variety of ways of pronouncing just because, you know, then one of them's got to be right. I think the same with Kirby, because the first time I heard Kirby's full name was on Sarah Renee Clark's channel, and she always pronounced it as Kirby Rosanes. So I kind of do the same, Kirby Rosanes. I've never said Rosanes, I don't think. Kirby Rosan. I always go Rosanes. Like 3 syllables kind of thing. You know what would be great? If all illustrators were just like, this is how you say my name. Give us a little voice clip. So we can actually try and get it right, because you kind of just guess and you're not sure. I know Christina at Christina's Art Corner had Sarah Shevchik comment on her video and said in the comments, Christina asked her, "Ooh, could you tell us how to pronounce your name?" And it's Shevchik. Was actually the way I was pronouncing it. Well, I think that's because we do have quite a few Polish people living in the UK, so Polish names are something I was kind of familiar with, and I know that Z's are pronounced like a sh sound. So I knew it wasn't like Sezwick, I knew it was Shevchik. I didn't know about this ending bit. I wasn't entirely sure on chick, but yeah, Shevchik. Google says Rosanes. Yeah, I don't trust Google though, because everyone, even with the same surname, can pronounce things differently. I look at the surname Gallagher, but can also be pronounced Gallagher. And it's just however that family pronounces it. So I don't like to go by just what Google says, although I do use it to help sometimes if I'm completely unsure. Rubbers, hee hee. You could keep saying rubber, but I was laughing because I have a juvenile sense of humour. Erase is, I think, is me. Erase, erase. I don't know. Z is also odd because we say Z. We say both, but mainly I would say Z. Like our ABC's on song. ABC's song ends with W, X, Y, and Z. Rather than Y and Z. I say Rosanna's too. I have no idea if it's correct. I agree, we need voice clips. A plug is also a plug, Ashley lol. Outlet. Plug and a socket. It's just a plug in it. Z, but we are the only ones. Yeah, I occasionally say both, but mainly Z. Because there's some things where I'm like, I couldn't imagine that being the other way round. Oh, I'm trying to think of an example. I suppose Gen Z, I'd say Gen Z rather than Gen Z. I think that sounds weird. But there was something the other day where I was like, imagine if you said Z. Or imagine if you said Z for this. I know what it was. At my last job, when we would cash out of the tills, we'd have to do a Z read, and I always thought it'd be weird if you said Z read. It just sounds weird to me. It's a Z read. And then you could do an X read whilst you were still logged in, and then the Z read would sign you out of the till. Oh gosh, no, Zoe. I was talking about this to my parents the other day. I picked up on with Steve because Zoe says garage wrong. For a UK, for a Brit, we say garage. The American way is garage, and she says garage, and it's wrong. Like, I've never met someone in the UK call it a garage. I can't. I'm just like, no, it's a garage. That's what we call it. Take the car to the garage. It's not working. Oh, I've got to go to the garage. Car's due an MOT. Not the garage. It's the one thing. Like, I'm perfectly fine with Americans calling it a garage. Like, that's their thing. But Zoe, you're British. You say garage. You should say garage. The one word that gets me, though, in the American accent is herb. If there's one word I could force Americans to say a different way, is herb. It really riles me when they go herb. Like, it's... Where did the H go? Where did the H go? See, me and Ashley agree for once. I mean, it's right for Ashley though. It's not right for you, Zoe. Oh, this is a hard one, Rochelle. How do you say decal? You pronounce it without the H, as in French. Herbes de Provence. Yeah, but French, they just don't pronounce H's. Like, H doesn't really exist in their language, like the sound. But why are you picking just the one word herb to not pronounce the H? Where's all the other words that you don't pronounce the H for? But yeah, decal or decal, decal. I say, oh, that's a nice decal you got there. Or I've got a decal from an. I'd say decal. That's a tricky one. People say different things. Can you say it like decal? Decal. The way herbs are pronounced: oregano, basil, oregano, and basil. Aluminum. It's another one. Aluminium. I actually kind of prefer the way Americans pronounce that because I struggle to say the word aluminium. Aluminium. So aluminum is much easier. I kind of like that. But I'd still always try and say aluminium. Oh, yeah. So what Amy has just put out in the chat, the thing you find in the sea is a buoy. It's a buoy. Oh look, there's a boy swimming by that buoy. It's pronounced the same way. It's not a buoy. It's a buoy. Lieutenant, lieutenant. Like, it looks like it should be lieutenant, but it's actually lieutenant, and I do think it is quite confusing, that word. So I accept that Americans pronounce it lieutenant. Boys pronounce that boy. Lieutenant is lieutenant. Yeah, that is actually how you pronounce it. It's lieutenant. Lieutenant isn't right. It's like colonel doesn't make sense. Colonel. It's colonel. Lieutenant, like places in the ranks in the army don't make sense. in terms of pronunciation anyway. Hi Catherine! Where'd you get the F? I think that is French as well, lieutenant. So yeah, a lot of weird pronunciations are because of the French. Schedule. Oh yeah, I don't like schedule. Oh, and project. Buoy makes me think a little ghost is going to pop out. Buoy! Do love language differences though, nice little quirks. I mean, you come to the UK and just the same people living in the same country and they pronounce words differently. I mean, the classic for us here is some say bath, some say bath. I'm a bath person. Bath, glass, grass, laugh. It's like an English lesson, yes. Route and router. Route. Yeah, like bread roll, bat, barm cake, cob, etc. Yeah, I'd call it a roll. There's a British dialect quiz if you search for it, and it asks you things like, what do you call a soft bread in a round shape? Is it this, 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 or this? What do you call a baby? What do you call the soft shoes that you would wear for sports lessons at school? That's a classic one for the UK of like different people. What do you call the soft shoes you put in? Not, they're a different type of shoe. Let me see. Soft pea shoes. Here we go. What would you call this shoe? Specifically if you're in the UK, because I don't know if you even have those shoes in the US. Yeah, Southerners baby, Northerners bairn. We got a plimsolls. Zoe, what would you call these? Plimsolls. See, this is a very much a southwest thing. They are daps. We call them daps. These shoes are daps, and that's literally just, there's a lot of things which are just very particular to the southwest, kind of Bristol, Wiltshire, Somerset area. Yeah, most people would say plimsolls, but they are daps. Ask Ask Steve, Zoe, what would he call them? Right, I don't think we need to be seeing these daps anymore. I would call them ugly. They were literally just what we would wear for PE at school. We wouldn't wear them out. It was just like indoor or outdoors. You'd wear them specifically for PE, specifically in primary school. So when you were young, from ages like 3 to 11, you wouldn't wear them in secondary school. You'd wear normal trainers. Themselves look a bit different if I remember though. I'm from the east, hee hee. I know you are from the east, Zoe. Zoe's posh. She's from Cambridgeshire. Although she's sounding more and more Wiltshire by the day. I kind of can't do a Wiltshire accent. Occasionally a Wiltshire accent word will pop out. That'll come inside and be like, oh, it's proper cold out there. Proper. You need sneakers. Yeah, we don't have sneakers. We have trainers. They're the same thing. Just so you know, they're the same thing. Angie's from the north. Oh, easy. Roll, wean, sand shoes. What do you mean by wean? What's a wean? Oh, a baby. Oh. Yeah, I didn't know that. We don't have weird, ugly options for kids, lol. The sneakers can have Velcro, but it's still a sneaker. Yeah, those... I don't know why. They're just for primary school age children. It's a bit random, really. But yeah, if you search for British dialect quiz, it asks you all sorts of fun. It's by the New York Times. I think there's also an equivalent for the US. Oh, I don't want to do that. It wants me to log in. Continue with Google. Okay. What on earth? No, I don't want that. Right, here we go. The dialect quiz. Let me get chat back up. He said plimsolls, but he also knows them as daps. Yes, Wiltshire. So, this is the British Irish dialect quiz. You can do this if you don't live in the UK, and it'd be fun to see where you would be from according to it. So, I was raised or born in the UK. What do you call the small grey buck that curls up into a ball when it's touched? This is something that is very specific to the town my mum grew up in, but she calls it a Granfy gravy, and she will say that forever. For me, it's just a woodlouse. It's just a woodlouse. Which of these words, if any, would you use for a young person characterised by brash, loutish behaviour and often low social status? See, a lot of these I haven't even heard of, like a gurrier. What is that? A spide? No, for me, it's a chav. Daps in Somerset as well. Yeah, southwest area. Woodlouse, yeah. How do you pronounce S-C-O-N-E? Rhymes with gone, rhymes with bone. Majority at the time, I'd say gone. Scod. How do you pronounce the words door and paw? they do not rhyme. They rhyme, because I know places at north they'd say door and pur, door and pur. I can't do accents, but they don't rhyme, or they do rhyme. They don't rhyme. Yeah, rhymes with bone, scone. I do flip and use both, but I think if I was just reading the word, most of the time I say scone. Full and fool. They sound different. They sound the same. They sound different. Full and fool. Which of these words, if any, would you use for a running water smaller than a river? This is a bit of a random one. But you click all that apart. I'd call it a stream or a brook. Wouldn't call it any of those other things. A shuck. Creek. I wouldn't call it a creek. A trickle is a bit weird. Which of these friends would you use to refer to a friend? Brethren. Dorwa and Florwa. Dorwa, Florwa. Some of these are funny, like, oh, it's me mucker. You'd call it a ditch, Zoe, for a little river. A stream, yeah, I'd say stream most of the time. Occasionally maybe brook, if it was babbling. A babbling brook. Friend, I'd say mate. I'd say... See, some of these, I wouldn't really say any of these, because they're a bit weird. But I think I'd just go with mate. Like, you're right, mate. The others I would be using in an ironic sense. I've never heard of Mara. Never heard of that. Brethren is just funny to me. Man, I'd use that, but no. Yep, ditch. Dan is my bud, but Jess is my mate. Oh. That's interesting. Or born for a small river is in Hampshire. I'm just going to put mate for this. Maybe you buddy, dude, chum, pal, bro. But no, mate. Oh, here's the question. Call it a small round piece of baked yeast dough. It's so funny thinking of a roll as that. I'd call it a bread roll. Which of these options, if any, would you use as a general word for the outer garment of the lower body with individual leg parts reaching to the ankle? This is one for the Americans out there as well. I like this one. Trousers. I thought that was just a way of spelling it. I've used dude too, but again for a man friend, yeah, I'd agree. And your family is from several areas, you have a real mix. See, my family is all from Wiltshire, Somerset area, so pretty much the same. Outer garment for the lower half of the body, those are trousers. I'd also call them bottoms if they're like not trousers. Like you can have trousers which aren't trousers. Pants are underwear. They're underwear. Breeches are very old-fashioned. Jeans are specific. Trackies are specific. I like trousers. Trousers for just the generic trousers or bottoms. Like I'd say pajama bottoms rather than, yeah, PJ bottoms, exactly. Pants or jeans. Trousers unless they are jeans or slacks, yeah. Which of these words would you use? Here's the child's soft shoes worn for PE. Those are these. No, wouldn't sand shoes because you're not wearing them on the sand. Pumps are like those are like ballet flats to me. Those are pumps. Just slip-on shoes. Tackies, never heard of that. Sannies, never heard of that. Runners, like plimsolls, I think is the most well known. I like how one of the options is they're just shoes. Like, don't be silly, they're just shoes. They're daps. We called them daps. Pants are underwear. Yeah, pants are underwear. How do you refer to your mother? Old one. I'm going to start referring to my mum as old lady. Imagine calling your mum old lady. I will be honest, I do call my mum dearie, but that's a Once Upon a Time reference. If you know, you know. So I'm dearie, and then my dad's dear. So it's like, no, she's not talking to you. She's talking to me. She didn't say dearie. She's talking to you. She said dear. No, I would. Something that I didn't realise until I went to uni was that people from Birmingham call mum mom, like MOM. And I just thought that was only American, and it wasn't until I went to uni and met other people that I realised that people in the UK actually called mom. But I call her mum. I call her ma, but that's more of a fun thing. That's just, hey ma. And I can't be bothered to say the full mum. Aged parent. Hey, aged parent. Ma or mum, depending on the mood. Yeah, I say ma, but that's not like, I wouldn't write that in a card. Birth giver. Who out there, like genuinely, who out there is saying, hey old dear, and they're talking to your mum? Like, get a slap for that. Mum, and then when I was little it was mummy. I'm surprised mama isn't on here. Like mama. Mothership. What is your name? Oh, this is a good one. What is the name for the playground game in which one child chases the rest and anyone who is touched becomes the pursuer? This was something that I had no idea people called it a different name until I did this quiz when I was at uni with people. And I was like, you generally called it this? Like, I'd never heard of it being called anything else. I use mother if I want to annoy her because she hates it. Yeah, I say mother if it's like, oh, all right, mother. Like, Zoe's saying tag. Like some of these I'm like, oh, we played chasies. Tip. Catch. That's not... Oh, I suppose, yeah, catch, you're catching them. Dobby. Never heard it referred to as dobby. Tuggy. Chasing. Touch. He. You called it he, Catherine. You called it it. Yeah, I never heard of it as it. Always tag to me. Always tag. Tag, you're it. But for someone I knew at uni, he said Tig, and I was like, you're joking. Tig? But no, it was definitely tag for us. How do you pronounce the words horse and horse? They sound different, they sound the same. Horse and... This is one of those where I can't imagine them not rhyming. Like, how would you say it differently? Horse and horse. I can't picture an accent where they don't rhyme. That's just me. They sound the same. Lots of people saying tag. Some saying it. Tag or tig. Which of these words, if any, would you use for a heavy rainfall? Oh, I'd say a lot of these. Pissing down, chucking it down, pelting down, pouring, lashing. Wouldn't say lashing. Tipping down, throwing it down. Raining cats and dogs is... See, that's an expression, but I wouldn't really use it. Bucketing down. Wouldn't really use that. I'd say pissing, I'd say chucking it. I wouldn't say pelting so much. I'd say tipping it down. It's pouring out there, yeah. Tipping it down, yeah. Raining cats and dogs, I think I would only say in like a jokey sense. Oh, it's raining cats and dogs out there. Ho ho ho. Like, it's not actually something you'd say. Chucking it down or pouring. I would never use lashing or bucketing. But the others I might use. Pelting, throwing. But these are the most. But for some of them it's like... Yeah, pouring. Like, oh, it's pouring out there. It's chucking it. It's tipping it. Like, if it's really going for it, it's pissing it down. How do you pronounce the words food and good? Food and good. I assume that's some northern accents where they do it. Oh, the quiz got you right, Angie. Love that. Yeah, it's scarily accurate. So food and good, food and good, they do not rhyme. Good, food, good. It's raining, it's pouring, the old man is snoring. He went to bed and bumped his head and couldn't get up in the morning. Food and good. How do you pronounce the words but and put? I suppose it would be what? But and put? That's giving me Geordie accent there. But and put. But now I've said it, I forgot what I do. But and put, they do not rhyme. Ooh, this is a good one. This is a good one for everyone in the chat. Which of these words, if any, would you use for not showing up for work or school? Twag, bunk off, ditch, doss, on the hop, mitch, dog it, on the beak, play hooky, skive off, skip, on the duck, on the dag, wag off, nick off, dog off. I had a friend said pornerain and I couldn't understand. You call it skip, you call it dogging it, skipping, skive. I'd say skive. In fact, still, oh, you little skiver, like you ain't showing up for work, are you skiving? There's something else. Skiving. I'm trying to remember, like, I remember it was something not on this list. Skiving, yes, yeah, it's skiving, skiver. I can't think of what it is. Skipping is school, hooky can be school or work. I wouldn't use. Mitch is weird to me. Got some funny options there. How do you pronounce them? Do the words farm and palm rhyme? Farm, palm. Farm, palm. Does that rhyme? Farm and palm. Palm, farm, palm. Yeah, they rhyme. It's kind of one of those weird ones where you think it can't rhyme, and then you're saying to me, you're like, oh yeah, it kind of does actually. Skip school but blew off a work shift. No show for work. Yeah, I still use skive for work. Or I've heard it been used for work, like, oh, you little skiver. Which of these words, if any, would you use for a piece of long cushioned furniture in the main room of a house? See, I do change for this, and this is something that I've noticed being a carer. Some older people are like, it's not called this, it's called that. Because I say couch and sofa, but I usually say couch. Oh, they were sat on the couch. But I say both. I can't think of what, like, people say it should be. I forget. But, because I'll put it on my notes. I'll be like, oh, knocked and entered, greeted them, sat on the sofa. I'd usually say sofa, if I'm right, but I'd say couch. I say both. I really do say both. But I know people are definitely more than one than the other. Sofa, my mum says settee. I don't like settee. I think it just sounds weird. I just don't like the word. I've never heard of this though. A divan. Never heard of that. My grandma called it a davenport. Call it settee and sofa. I think most people say sofa. Armchair isn't a long cushion piece of furniture, it's an armchair. Which of these words, if any, would you use for feeling cold, parky, Baltic, nesh, chilly, freezing, nippy, Arctic, nivered, foundered, brass monkeys, perishing? I'd say I'm freezing, I'd say I'm nippy, I'd say I'm chilly. That's all the ones I'd use. For nippy, I'd be like, oh, it's a little bit cold, a little bit nippy. Freezing is when you're really cold. It'd be like, oh, chilly, little chill in the air. I'd say freezing. Your nan was from Hull, so she gets her dialect from her. Ah. Settee sounds old and a bit musty. Yeah, it does a bit. Baltic. It's Baltic out there. Freezing, chilly or freezing, or bloody frozen. Yeah, I'd probably say freezing most of the time. But I do say nippy quite a lot. Like, oh, it's a little bit nippy. I say that more kind of in a jokey way though. How do you refer to your grandma? Okay, how is there not old dear on this one? But there was for mum. The grandma isn't old dear, but your mum is. I want to do the quid, but it's trying to make me subscribe. I just clicked X at the top of the screen. I had to sign in with my Google account, but I clicked X at the top, and you don't have to subscribe. So your grandmother, mam, mamgoo, gram, gran/granny, nana, nan, grandma, nanny, nane. So I have 2 of my grandmothers are still alive, and one's called nan/nanny, and the other one's called grandma. And my ex thought it was very weird how I called one of them grandma, and thought that was a really American thing to do. And it was just, one was called nan, one was called like, I've got nan and granddad, and I had grandma and grandpa, so that they had, the 2 sets had different names, so you didn't get them confused. My mum's grandma is, or the witch. My father's mum was nanny. Now I'd want to be called grandma because I prefer it, because to me nan is a goat. Nan is a goat of Animal Crossing. But we wanted to call our nans nan. Yeah, our nan was nanny when we were little, and like when we stopped calling mum, dad, mummy and daddy, we stopped calling her nanny too. Although my cousins still call her nanny. Yeah, I say nan. I kind of don't mind what I'd be called. Grandmama. Nanny, like, yeah. Grandma. A baby and a mimi. They called one grandmama and the other her actual name, or grams. Yeah. My cousins had 2 granddads. They had Grandad Pete, and then our granddad was called Grandad Lorry because he liked lorries. I know some don't like grandma because they don't like to have gran or granny in their name. How do you refer to your grandfather? So I just said this. It was granddad, and the other one was grandpa. Tadku. What is? I've never heard that. Or Tade. Who's calling their grandfather dad? That's a different kind of family dynamic, that. Bampy is so cute. I love Bampy. Oh. My mum's parents were granny and granddad, and my dad's parents were gran and grandpa. Similar to mine, my mum's parents are nanny and granddad, and my dad's parents are grandma and grandpa. Some languages have distinction for paternal and maternal. I think that's such a good idea, Catherine. And they have the same for cousins as well. Like in French you have cousin or cousine, isn't it? For the male or female. Just granddad here. Mum always said grandma makes you sound old, lol. Yeah, my nan never wanted to be called gran or granny. She thought it sounded old, so she was always nanny. Steve calls his grandfather Bamp. Love that. Oh, Bamp. I think Bampy's really cute. Yeah, for me, I've got my granddad and grandpa. Which of these words, if any, would you use for a baby? Ben, nipper, ween, babby, bab, wean, little one, kid, babe, baba, sprog. See, a baby I wouldn't call it a kid, because I would just call a baby. So I might put none of these, because I wouldn't call them any of these. Not like seriously. Might jokingly say little nipper. But I wouldn't actually call them any of these. I wouldn't say babby or bab. Baba, no, babe. I'd just say baby, yeah. I'm gonna go none of these. Just a baby, lol. Yeah, just a baby. Which of these words would you use for someone you think is stupid? Oh, yeah, lots of these. Classic English slang. Egypt, thick, plank, twip, melt, dose, numpty, burk, moron, wazzock, dope, pillock, idiot, dummy, gowl. So I'll go for the ones that I hear most often. Numpty for sure. You numpty. Idiot. Wazzock is a funny one, but I wouldn't really use it. Mum sometimes says you wazzock, but not very often. Thick. I would say pillock. Fair, sometimes. Egypt, not really, but sometimes. More an idiot, dummy. Yeah, dummy. I'd also use dummy. You dummy. Most of those. Yeah, I'm trying to think of ones that I would use like realistically and not like jokingly. Like, oh, you're thick, you're an idiot, you're a numpty, you dummy. Yeah, I think those feel right to me. How do you pronounce the A sound in last? Sounds like the A in cat, sounds like the A in father, sounds like the A in cat, father and last all sound the same. Sounds like neither the A sound in cat nor the R sound in father. That was such... This is like such a long-winded way of wording it. Last as in father rather than last as in cat. For me. Oh, and here's my map. Yeah, pretty bang on. Because this is where Wiltshire is. It's saying up by Gloucestershire, but no, but Wiltshire, Somerset is round here. I live not too far away from Bath, so that's pretty accurate. Most distinctive naps. So DAPS is very, like, look how such a small portion of the UK calls those soft shoes in PE DAPS. And the R sound in father, that's very southern. Specifically southeast. That's, like, I'd say it's pretty 50-50 around where I live, whether people say Bath or Bath. It's really, like, even in my own family, my sister says Bath, I say Bath. Tag, interestingly, that's very kind of quite local to here. Always known it as tag. That's funny how but and put do not rhyme is very much Scotland and the south, not Midlands or the north. Silly sausage, I like that. Dimbo. Dipshit, yeah. Slow. You got the R in father, long A like in father. Missing. How do you, Dawn Paul they ride. Nanny, grandma, nan. Very much southish. No one on my side call it tag? Where's tag? Here. I mean, the orangey ones, yeah, it's saying less similar. Apparently not. I suppose, are you there, Zoe? Would that be you-ish? Where that dark red spot is? Could be. Ish. I'm not actually very good at knowing where Cambridgeshire is. Bread roll around there. My mum's saying there's stick of shit at the neck of the bottle. Love that. Skive-off is very everywhere. It's literally everywhere in the UK. Food and good. It's basically just anywhere apart from Scotland. No, more north. Well, there we go. It's a fun tangent there. But let's get back to colouring. That was fun. I always find those things really interesting. And like, interesting how accurate it is as well, because we did it with all sorts of people at uni and it was always bang on, like the right area. I mean, it does give you quite a broad area, but it's still pretty bang on. So I think that gives me, yeah, just about enough time to finish up these leaves. So I feel like I'm going quite slowly for this page. I keep going on tangents and playing quizzes on British dialect and looking at books, looking at my journals, like all sorts of random stuff here. But I always love the random tangents people go on stream. They talk about different things or flipping books. I like that. Like if you ever watch a stream and go, oh, That book you have, Jess, can you show it? More than happy to. Or if you're interested in the current book I'm colouring and want me to flip it, just say, and I always am happy to do that. Whoa. So as we're nearing the end, what are everyone's plans for the weekend? I am working tomorrow, as I always work on a Saturday. But at some point on the weekend I want to film my colour along. It needs to be done. I've been meaning to do it all week. I've either not been feeling particularly well, or my dad's been home working from home. It's just the way it is. I can film when he's home, I just don't like to. I feel awkward knowing that he's upstairs and can hear me. He says he can't, but if he's going downstairs then he definitely can. You're going to a lake and an art shop tomorrow, lovely. Watching SmackDown, colouring and gaming. What is SmackDown? What is that? Is that some kind of like fighting thing? Sounds like fighting. You're doing a local beer trail, but probably just a couple of the pubs. Ooh, that's fun. You went to London Zoo today, that was hectic. Oh gosh. Yep, summer holidays. You love it. It's WWE wrestling. Yeah, I've never watched WWE or anything like that. It's your last weekend as a 35-year-old. These leaves here are quite a tricky colour in terms of like matching with my pencils. I'm just adding a bit of shading in here. I think a bit of pea green might be the way to go. And for these as well. Happy upcoming birthday. Yeah, happy upcoming birthday. This looks so pretty. What pencils are you using? Thank you, Dopamine Daydreams. These are the Arrtx pencils. And they are doing a wonderful job on this book and on this paper. Yeah, I'll finish off these leaves and then I will just do these two tree trunks because it will really annoy me looking at the page not seeing the tree trunks done. There is a potential that if I feel so inclined I could stream tomorrow night as well. Only a potential, don't want to promise anything. So I'm working tomorrow, but I kind of just want to keep working on this page. I don't want to let wait for another almost week to colour back in it on Wednesday. I mean, I can do what I like, but colour it off camera, but I'm enjoying colouring the whole page on stream with you all. The quiz got you right too, Amy. Love it. Kimberly's trying to catch up in Sargon. Yeah, I want to film my next one. I've kind of got an idea for colour palettes, and I might need to test tomorrow at the back of the book or something like that. Using the Arrtx activated with water, as Jana said, they're not good. I don't know if this might be better because it is the Swedish version. But I would only use a little bit of water, or try to use only a little bit of water. I did go a bit crazy yesterday using Inktense in Kirby's Mythic World book, and I had the tiniest bit of bleed through on a couple of areas, but it's going to be so easy to cover up. It's just a bit of blue. You'll cover it out with pencils, no problem. It's like just a couple of spots here and there where I just added a little bit too much water. Looking forward to the water. Yeah, I've got an idea of how I want it to look. Got Amy tomorrow too. Yeah. What's the best watercolour pencil sets to get for beginners? I don't know. For beginners, because you don't want to be getting really expensive ones to begin with. Arrtx, I'd probably, if I was looking as a beginner, I was looking at getting them for quite a while and then ended up going for the Arrtx because I'd been colouring for a while. I knew I liked the colour range. But I have heard good things about the Arrtx, but they can be kind of hard to find because Arrtx go in and out of stock all the time. They're a bit annoying like that. I don't know, anyone else got input? Best set for beginners? Because I think if it's beginners as in you've got a beginner budget, you don't want to be spending too much. That's a different question than an absolute beginner to water, because I think it doesn't matter what set you have, they all react the same way, perform in a similar way. My first time using watercolours was with the Arrtx, but I got a small set first. You're learning with the Arrtx at the moment. You started off with the WH Smith ones, then the Derwent watercolour pencils, then the Arrtx. Oh, Dopamine Daydreams, you haven't used your Arrtx yet? Can't wait to see how you do the water. Oh gosh, yeah, I've got all the pencils picked out. I was going to start with the water, then I quickly said no. Then I quickly changed my mind. It's this bit that's... I don't want to do it. I'm scared. I don't mind colouring water. I think it's just the fact that I've got this to replicate and it's just a bit daunting. But I think if I go more of like, okay, this is how I'm colouring it, and starting with all the dark lines or a base of colour, but I will go over that when I get to it. That might be next stream. It will probably be next stream. Small set. My first with the Caran d'Ache 40 set with my first paycheck after uni. If you can afford it, I'd go for the Arrtx or a small set of the Arrtx and to start and build up over time. Yeah, I think people recommend the Arrtx. Starting with, I think they do like 12 sets, don't they? Be good to get a feel for it. My first kind of introduction to it was a 12 set of Inktense. I wouldn't necessarily recommend Inktense to start out with because they're a bit of a different approach to doing like the watercolour. Inktense possibly my favourite though, yeah. I'm really enjoying the Arrtx, but the Inktense are great. The fact that you can activate them and then work on another bit, activate that bit, and you don't get the bleed through from other colours. That's the thing that I'm kind of struggling with the Arrtx, because I could be a bit messier with my water application with the Inktense, because it wouldn't reactivate, or if it did, it would be only very minimally. But it's just a learning curve, and it's nice that you can still work the Arrtx in a way. It's good that you can reactivate them, and it's good that you can't for the Inktense. Like, they have their pros and cons in different situations. I wouldn't recommend Inktense because they're not watercolour pencils. Yeah, Inktense, they feel similar to watercolours, but they're permanent when they dry down, so you can't reactivate them, which is good in some ways and not good in others. But yeah, I don't know if I'd recommend them first, even though that's what I started with first. They are intimidating though, and it is quite a learning curve for them. I think Arrtx are easier to get the hang of. And what's nice about the Arrtx is that if you run out of a pencil colour, you can always buy it open stock, which is something that the cheaper ones like Arrtx or WH Smith, if you're in the UK, like store brand ones, they wouldn't have that ability to replace colours if you run out of them. So I feel like almost especially with watercolour pencils, a lot of the times you'll be using it for, say, water, so you're going to run out of those light blues very quickly. At least I know I would. 60 set of Arrtx should be a great start. You agree? Started with the 30. You started painting again after Inktense and then bought half. Zoe bought half a dozen open stock of colours I felt I needed. I find that Arrtx do not activate when dry. Interesting. Yeah, I found it with Fragile World. It was, I'll show you. I don't know if you'll be able to see it on camera, but you can see there is a tiny bit of green on this stem that got reactivated when I did the yellow background, and down here and down here. Like, it's very minimal, and it was just areas where I wasn't being so careful with my water, and if I did this again I would do the background first, then the green. But yeah, that was the main kind of issue I had, and that was more user error than anything else. Alright, I think I'm happy enough with that in terms of the leaves. May tweak it off camera very slightly. You can see it's not an exact replica from what's on the left side, but that's just because you don't have the exact replica colours, but I kind of like how mine's a bit brighter. So I'm just going to do the tree trunks, and then that will be it for tonight. So I did pull out some colours for that. I've got iron oxide brown and light umber. Heading to bed now. It's cooler, so I might catch up on lost sleep. Good night, Catherine. Have a good evening. I will be off to bed too soon myself. 10:30. I've got to be up for 7. Ugh. I do see it. I'm fairly new to watercolour myself. Always put your light colours down first. That's the only rule I know. Yeah, that's something I now know. But I wasn't exactly sure what colour I wanted to do my background to start with, so I mean, hindsight, it's very easy once you've got it. It is 2020. You better go. Nice hanging out with you all. Thanks for joining us, Rochelle. Are you planning to recreate the image or do your own spin? I'm trying to recreate it best I can, but I understand that I don't have exact colour matches, so I've got my own spin, and the way I shade is a bit different to how they've done. But colour-wise, I'm trying to recreate it. Oh my gosh, my mum broke my heart the other night. So I just finished the double page spread in Die Welt unter der Lupe Sulande by Rita Berman, and I was following the colour along by Karen at My Colourful Country Life, and I was like, look, I did this, I was following her colour along, and I don't know if I'd do that again because it was a lot of work. And Mum goes, have you ever considered following exactly what a person has done and trying to replicate their page? And I was like, I just did, it's there. I tried my best. The background looks very, very different, but the main image itself, I think I did okay at trying to replicate what she did. I was just like, Mum, why'd you say that? She didn't do it on purpose. Hi Yolanda, welcome in. Hope you're having a nice evening. I am literally just finishing up though. Once I've done these tree trunks, which is very imminent, I am going to be saying goodbye and heading off. It needs just a tiny bit of sienna brown. Just add a bit of warmth into that. It's hot, hot, hot. Hi Sharon. I'm sure she might want, yeah. Welcome in Sharon. I'm literally just finishing off now. In fact, I have finished. You got a weird compliment the other day. A friend said when she sees my colour pages, she thinks I should design wallpaper. I don't know what that means. I suppose that means you've got a nice sense of colour palettes, if it should be a wallpaper. You just popped in to say hi. Thanks for popping in. But yeah, I'm going to leave it here, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me tonight, as we made a fair bit of progress. Did all the leaves. The only bit of greenery we have left is the grass here. It's coming along nicely. This page does seem to be going slower than my last two, but I think within another stream or two we should be finished. The water is going to be tricky, tricky, tricky. But yeah, looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to doing this gold. I always like colouring the grass next time, and then work on some of these barrels and the water. I'm not looking forward to doing the background because it's just browny beige. That'll be alright. But yeah, anyway, I am going to say goodnight to you all, and thank you for joining me. I hope all of you have an amazing rest of your day and rest of your evening, rest of your morning, whatever time it is for you. Just finishing off my drink there. But yeah, thanks for joining me, and I will see you in the next stream. Bye everyone.